Now we will give a short introduction to Docia project to help you get started. You can access Docia online wherever you are, and you can also use Docia directly from your mobile telephone. This saves you time and makes your working day more effective. You can have access to your project whenever you need to. Download our app via App Store or Google Play. Once you have logged in, you see your personal space and the desktop, which give you an instant overview. Under Applications, you can see all of Docia's digital tools, each of which supports processes in every phase of construction. Docia project gathers all the documents and drawings for the building project in a single location, thus guaranteeing effective collaboration between all parties involved in a construction project. Now you can see the projects which you yourself have created, as well as those in which you have been invited to be involved in. You can create a new project, and you can request access to a project. You can also cancel your access to a project you will no longer be involved in. Let us look more closely at how Docia project gives you a total overview, regardless of the scale, the number of phases, or its complexity. The composition of your interface varies according to how the project is created. The modules you see on the left-hand side also vary, depending on your role in the project and the rights you have been allocated. Above the modules, we have navigation, which determines the content in the right-hand window. Each of the two windows has its own toolbar above it. Under Project Information, you find a short description of the project, information about who the administrators are, a project timeline if one exists, and an overview of the areas of responsibility. Docia has been designed especially for the AEC market sector, and we structure project material in 3 different areas. The workspace is used to exchange provisional drawings and documents. The publication space is used to gather together all applicable material, while the distribution space is used to allocate and distribute the applicable material to the project's many participants. In the workspace, the file structure for the project can be customized to suit the needs of the individual project. Whenever you want an instant overview of a file's contents, just drag the mouse over the file icon and you will get a mini image of the file and its metadata. You can also see right away who of those involved in the project have already seen the file and who have not. Whenever new versions of a file are uploaded, Docia automatically structures all versions of the file. The most recent is always accessible at the top. You can use Docia's free inbuilt viewer to see and print more than 400 file formats. You can also use the viewer to compare an earlier version with a more recent or to redline a drawing. If you are searching for a specific file, you can use the search function and specify your own search criteria and what metadata you require. You can also save your search results for later use. You can also access the same files on your mobile phone via Docia's app. So whenever the architect updates a drawing, you can see it right away at the building site. This saves time and minimizes the risk of error because you always have your drawings at hand. The green arrows in front of the file icon indicate whether the file is applicable and thereupon released to the publication space. By keeping the materials separated into workspace and publication space, you have a constant overview of which project material is provisional and which is applicable. For example, the publication space lets you know which files have been most recently approved and released. Frequently, a number of selected file versions will be gathered into a version set, for example, to document a specific phase in the construction process. Files can be selected from both the work and the publication space for inclusion in a version set. When a file has been released, it is then distributed to the relevant parties involved in the project. The distribution space makes sure that you receive only the material which is relevant to you. The distribution space gives you an instant overview of what material has been distributed to whom and when. You can also send the files directly for printing by an external printing provider, without needing to download first and incurring problems by emailing large files. Under Communication, you find any personal messages which have been sent via Docia. It is a real advantage to communicate via messages with the other parties involved in the project, because all communication is documented in the system, unlike in an email which can easily be deleted. Project administration contains a whole range of administrative functions, exclusively for the use of the project administrators. Here you can configure approval procedures, users, groups, and rights for the individual user groups. Under Log, you find a comprehensive log of all events in the project. For example, if any doubt arises concerning which document was applicable at any given moment, Docia stores full documentation throughout the whole project. Under Personal Overviews, you can see your own log, print, and backup orders. You can also set up what you want to be notified about, so you are guaranteed to receive information whenever new files become available. If you are involved in several projects and therefore would like to gather all your notifications in a single daily or weekly notification email, you can change the general settings under your personal space under your own settings. Remember that Docia offers free support to all its users, so if you have any questions, we are always ready to help you. Zero defects in the AEC industry. That is what Docia works for every day. Visit docia.com for more information.